Alright, so we're going to go back just a little bit. We're going to review the idea of Hitler taking action. Okay? At this point, what actions is Hitler taking to build up and lead to the eruption of World War II? Okay? So we talked about it again. Go ahead and write down those dates. So even though I'm not going to ask you to memorize them, it sets up the timeline of Hitler's actions. Okay? So just to review, make sure you've highlighted that term Anschluss. Okay? Again, the idea that Germany invades Austria, no conflict. Okay, so they're annexing Austria. Austria does not fight back. And again, we talked about Hitler was very much so welcomed into Austria. Okay, this violated the terms of the Treaty of Versailles. Germany was not to unite with Austria or form an alliance of any kind. Okay. So the next one we talk about, Hitler begins to kind of pick up speed and continue moving forward and gaining territory. Okay, the next step is he's moving into the Rhineland. Okay, you will label this on your map. Again, like we talked about, the Rhine River, okay, sort of creates the border between Germany over here and France. Rhineland, under the terms of the Treaty of Versailles, was to be a demilitarized zone. No military was supposed to be here. Hitler in Germany, once again, violates the Treaty of Versailles by moving troops from Germany into the Rhineland. Okay? Like we talked about, Germany's neighbor France gets very nervous by this. Okay? They start to suspect Hitler of trying to move into these territories. Okay? The next place that Hitler has his sights on is going to be a specific part of Czechoslovakia, okay, right in this horseshoe area of the Sudetenland. Okay, now Hitler wanted this back because this was part of the territory from World War I. Okay, so again, as Hitler gets more and more confident and begins to expand more and more, France and Britain begins to question Hitler's actions. Okay, so again, kind of get that date, and I want you to highlight that term Sudetenland. Okay, so specifically this horseshoe of Czechoslovakia. Now, like we talked about, so highlight this term appeasement. Okay, France and Britain did not want to go to war at this point. They did not want to fight against Germany, so they were sort of just hoping that Hitler would stop. Okay, so under the Munich Pact, okay, Britain gives up that Sudetenland. Okay, so they are appeasing him. They are giving in to Hitler by giving him, excuse me, by giving him the Sudetenland. Okay, so again, the main goal, France and Britain give in to his demand, okay, with the goal to avoid war. Okay, Hitler agreed, okay, if you just give me the Sudetenland, I won't go any further. Okay, again, we talked about Hitler being a totalitarian leader, wants more power, so he's going to break that promise and invade and take over the rest of Czechoslovakia. Okay, another thing that Hitler wanted to do, okay, just like we talked about with World War I, Hitler did not want to have to divide his forces and fight on two sides. So again, with that goal of avoiding the two-front war, okay, Hitler is going to make a pact or make a deal with Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union. Okay, so basically they're promising they're not going to attack each other. Okay, Germany's goal is, again, he wants to be able to invade Poland without the Soviet Union intervening. Okay, so in return for making the deal, Germany is going to give part of Poland to the Soviet Union. Okay, make sure you are able to identify this cartoon with the non-aggression pact. Okay, so they're agreeing to not be aggressive towards each other. So you see Hitler here as the bride. Okay, you have the Nazi symbol. Got the Nazi symbol and the communist symbol in the cake. Okay, and the caption says, "Wonder how long the honeymoon will last." Okay, so do we think that they will keep this promise to each other? Okay, so once Hitler has made that pact with the Soviet Union, he feels comfortable invading Poland. Okay, once Germany invades Poland, this is an outward sign of aggression. France and Britain are both going to declare war on Germany. Okay, so this marks, with Germany invading Poland, this marks the start of World War II. Highlight that. You definitely need to know that. Okay? Okay, the main tactic that you need to know, another German word, blitzkrieg. Okay, blitzkrieg means lightning war. I want you to highlight both blitzkrieg and the idea of lightning war. So the goal of a blitzkrieg attack, so like a blitz attack, is to just attack, and simply devastate your opponent. Okay, make it so that they cannot move on. There's no way to compete. Okay, again, the key is to surprise to make sure you have the upper hand or the advantage in fighting. Okay, after they've invaded Poland and practiced the blitzkrieg on Poland, in May of 1940, Germany is going to invade France. Okay, so again, continuing with this blitzkrieg attack, it makes it very hard to kind of fight against Germany. Okay, the one key thing I want you to know under this one is this idea of Vichy France. Okay, literally, so we divide France kind of right in half. So you see it in here, this blue section right here. France, half of France is just going to fall to Hitler. Okay, they don't feel like they can compete. They don't really want to fight against him and undergo that blitzkrieg attack. So Vichy France falls to Hitler. Okay, leaving half of France to defend against him. Okay, so just kind of understanding. Get this top part and this idea of Vichy France and highlighting that one. Okay, so again, with half of France having already fallen to Hitler, it made it even harder for France to sustain themselves. Okay, so by the late 1940s, all of France has officially surrendered to the Germans. Okay, the problem with this leaves Britain all alone. Okay, fighting against Hitler in Western Europe. Okay, so under that, okay, knowing that Britain is the last one standing, they're going to fight in the Battle of Britain. Okay, a couple key things that you need to know, okay, is that the German Air Force, or the Luftwaffe, okay, again, another German vocabulary term, highlighting that, what they're going to do is, for about 9 months, they're going to constantly bombing the city of Britain. So again, remember, that's the idea of total war. Okay, so again, we're not just attacking military bases or soldiers. This is total war. Cities are being destroyed. Regular civilians, regular people are being killed at the same time. Okay. Luckily, with this new technology coming out, radar was created, and it allowed the Royal Air Force, or the British Air Force, to defeat the Luftwaffe. Okay, so Britain never surrendered. Okay, the U.S. starts to pay attention. Again, Great Britain was our friend. It kind of makes us want to help. Okay, famous quote by Winston Churchill regarding the Battle of Britain. "We shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in the seas and oceans. We shall fight in the beaches. We shall fight in the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender." Winston Churchill. Okay, so with the Battle of Britain being unsuccessful, Hitler is going to launch Operation Barbarossa. So, completely change of tactics. Hitler is going to move away from Great Britain. Okay, they're going to turn and attack the Soviet Union. Okay, so obviously we just talked about this is going to violate the idea of the non-aggression pact. Okay, he ignores the promise that he made, launches the attack on the Soviet Union. Biggest thing with Operation Barbarossa, Germany is now fighting a two-front war. Okay, so this is the height of maximum access control. Okay, so again, when you do your map later, this is all going to be under Germany's control. Alright, again, so we talked about Italy coming into play. So Germany's been the main aggressor. Okay, Italy is going to invade Ethiopia. Okay, so again, you see right here, Italy invading Ethiopia. When we talk about this, the League of Nations does not come to the aid of Ethiopia. Okay, so they continue to expand their empire, which is an event of imperialism. Okay, another player that we see in this would be Japan, which we talked about under military control. Okay, main thing that they were looking for is raw materials. Remember, we talked about Japan was very slow to industrialize. Okay, before World War II started, the Japanese had invaded Manchuria, China. Okay, another example of Japan building up their empire. Okay, with this one, again, we talk about the League of Nations. Nobody is volunteering to be the police force. So without the United States stepping up and joining the League of Nations, nobody is actually enforcing the rules. So Italy is invading into Africa, Japan is invading into China, and nobody's actually stopping this cause of imperialism.